last class what is meant by electric current, how the electric current is constituent in the conductors, what are the charge carriers in the different materials like conductors, semiconductors, electrolytic solutions in gas, and also we discussed the types of electric currents. Now in this class we discuss one more important concept, that is Ohm's law. That Ohm's law, it is very important for point of view theory examination. It may be asked in 2 marks or 3 marks question. Then this Ohm's law, it gives the relationship between the current and voltage, current and potential difference. How the current is depends on voltage, how they are both are dependent to each other. Then what is the statement of this Ohm's law? Here the Ohm's law states that the current in a metallic conductor is directly proportional to potential difference applied across its ends, provided the temperature and other physical conditions of the conductor are kept constant. See, the current in the metallic conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference applied across its ends. Consider a metallic conductor having a length L. When a battery is connected across its ends of the conductor, battery, or we can call it as a cell, it's having a potential difference or voltage P. When this potential difference is applied across this conductor, current is passing through this conductor, or current is flowing through this conductor in the direction of positive terminal of battery to negative terminal of battery. According to Ohm's law, that current in the metallic conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference applied across its ends. It means when the potential difference, it means voltage goes on increases, it means the value of voltage or potential difference is increased, the current through the conductor is also increases. See, for example, let us consider it is a variable or supply or battery. If applied voltage is, for example, if applied voltage is 1 volt, the current in the conductor becomes 0.1 amps. See, we can take it as a V1 and it is I1. Now voltage is increases, that is the V2 is equal to 2 volt. Voltage is increase or potential difference applied across the ends is increased. The current through the conductor is also increased. It is, we can take it as a 0.2 amps. Here V3 again, the voltage across or potential difference across this conductor is increased. We can take it as a 3 volt. The current through the conductor is also increases 3 amps. Similarly, we can take it as when the potential difference applied across the conductor is increases, the current through the conductor is also increases. Both are directly proportional to each other. If potential difference applied across the conductor is decreased, the current through the conductor is also decreases. Both are directly proportional to each other. Let I be the current in a metallic conductor and V be the voltage or potential difference across the ends of the conductor. According to Ohm's law, we have to represent it as I is directly proportional to V, or we can take it as I is equal to 1 divided by R into V. Here 1 by R we can call it as a proportionality constant, or R is represented as resistance, or this Ohm's law we have to represent V is equal to IR, where R is the resistance. R is the resistance, or simply we can call it as an electrical resistance. See, we have the values peak voltage 1 volt, 2 volt, 3 volt, corresponding current values are there, 0.1 amps, 0.2 amps, 0.3 amps. If we plot the graph by using these values, we get a straight line curve. If we plot the graph P versus I, P will take along y-axis and I will take along x-axis. The graph, the slope, the straight line curve is obtained. A linear curve is obtained by plotting these values P and I. See, one more important thing in here, the slope of the graph is represents the resistance. See, how can we find the slope? Here we can take it as a theta. That the tan theta is equal to the slope of the graph is equal to tan theta. Here the slope of the line is equal to, we can take it as a tan theta. Here from this triangle we can take it as from triangle ABC. That is tan theta is equal to AB. Tan theta is equal to AB divided by BC. Here AB is represented as, here we can take it as B is equal to B1 and A is equal to P2. That is, the AB is equal to delta P, difference between V1 and P2. Here AB is equal to, shall I write delta P. Then BC is represented as, here we can take it as I1 and here we can take it as I2. That is delta I2 minus of I1, we can take it as delta I. Here divided by BC is equal to delta I. Here delta V divided by delta I, shall I write R? Because already we know that from Ohm's law, that is V is equal to IR or R is equal to P divided by I. That's why delta V divided by delta R is delta I is equal to R. It means the slope of the graph is represents the resistance. Now we'll take one example. Here there are the two materials are there. There are the two material. One we can take as a material A and another one is material B. If you plot the graph of voltage versus current, we get two straight line. One it is for material A and another it is for material B. One it is a slope we can take as tan theta 1 or theta 1 and another one we can take as theta 2, which is having more resistance. The material B having more resistance because the slope of the B is more. That's why we can consider as RB is greater than RA, because that tan theta 2 is greater than tan theta 1. That's why we can conclude that the resistance of the B material is greater than resistance of the A material. Okay. Now we will go to the, based on this Ohm's law, we have to categorize two types of the devices. One is ohmic device and another one is non-ohmic device. Based on Ohm's law, we will categorize by two types of the devices. First one we can take as ohmic devices. What is meant by ohmic devices? These are the device which obeys the Ohm's law. The device which obeys the Ohm's law, those devices we can call as a ohmic device. It means in the device that V is or I is directly proportional to V. Those devices, if you are such ohmic device, the graph V and I is straight line. If you plot the graph for that particular device, the graph is a straight line. Which PI graph having a straight line, those we can, or linear curve, those devices we can call as a ohmic devices. Example for these ohmic devices, that is metallic conductor, voltmeter and ammeter. Already we discussed in last slide. For a metallic conductor, if you plot the V versus I, we get a straight line curve, which is having a straight line or linear curve PI graph, those are also we can call as a ohmic device. It means those are obeys Ohm's law. V is directly proportional to, or I is directly proportional to P. Then next one, the non-ohmic devices. The non-ohmic device, these are the devices which do not obey the Ohm's law. Which do not obey the Ohm's law. It means the current and voltage are not directly proportional to each other. If you plotting the graph of V versus I for the materials, we get a non-linear curve. For example, we can take it as it is a triode tube is there. For this one, it is a non-linear curve is obtained. For diode, it is also non-linear curve. And for semiconductor, it is also non-linear. For torch tube, it is also non-linear. All these V is not directly proportional to I, or I is not directly proportional to each other. It means these are not obeys the Ohm's law. That's why these devices we can call it as a non-ohmic devices. The example for this one, semiconductor, triodes, diodes. For semiconductor, the V is not directly proportional to I. If you plot the graph for semiconductor, the non-linear curve, observe here the voltage is increases, that I is not increased with V. Equal amount, it is not increases by equal. At one particular applied voltage, the current is sharply increases. That's why the I and V are not directly proportional to each other. That's why the semiconductor is we can consider as non-ohmic device. Clear? Then now we can go to the another important thing. Some limitations are there for this Ohm's law. What are the limitations for this Ohm's law? The first one, it is not applicable for metallic conductor at a very low and very high temperature. What happens at very low and very high temperature? The resistance of the material is varies with the temperature. If temperature is varies, the resistance is also varies. On that condition, at a low temperature and very high temperature, the V and I both are not directly proportional to each other. That's why the Ohm's law is not applicable for metallic conductor at very high and very low temperature. And another one more, see, it is not applicable for semiconductor, superconductor, triodes, thermometers and discharge tubes. Why it is not applicable for semiconductor? For example, we can take it as a diode user. If you plot the VI characteristics of the diode is, that is V and I. Here a curve is obtained. Observe this one. V is increases large amount, but I is increases very small amount. After certain particular applied voltage, the current is increases rapidly in a very small amount of applied voltage. It means the V is not directly proportional to the I. That's why the semiconductor is not applicable. The Ohm's law is not applicable for semiconductor, and also it is not applicable for superconductor. Why it is not applicable? For ideal superconductor, that is R is equal to 0. If R is equal to 0, that I is not directly proportional to V. That's why it is not applicable for superconductor and triodes, thermometers and discharge tubes. Okay, now some important notes related to that Ohm's law. Here it is a very interesting and important here. V is equal to IR is applicable for all linear and non-linear conductors. But Ohm's law, it means V is directly proportional to I, is not applicable for non-linear conductors. See, V is equal to IR is applicable for both linear and non-linear conductor. Here, if you finding the resistance, how to find the resistance of this semiconductor device? Here, if you take a one slope, here it is equal to theta. Here, we can take it as A, B, C. How can we determine this slope? That is, the slope is equal to AB divided by BC. What is the AB here? delta I. What is meant by BC here? That is a delta V. Right? Or reciprocal of this slope. 1 by slope is equal to, shall I write a delta V divided by delta I? What is meant by delta V divided by delta I? It is equal to resistance R. Or delta V is equal to delta I into R. It is the V is equal to IR is applicable for non-linear conductor. It is also applicable for linear also. For linear again, plotting the graph. That is V versus I. Here a straight line comes. For linear, if you again, that is so A, B, C. That is the theta. That is the slope is equal to AB divided by BC. Here AB is again delta I, BC is represented as delta V. Here delta I divided by delta V. Here the slope, the reciprocal of the slope, 1 by slope is equal to delta V divided by delta I. What is delta V by delta I? It is the R. According to Ohm's law, or P is equal to delta V is equal to delta I into R. It is C. Non-linear and linear conductors is applicable. P is equal to IR. That's why P is equal to IR is applicable for all linear and non-linear conductor. But Ohm's law is not applicable for non-linear conductors. See, Ohm's law, P is or I is directly proportional to V. See, at a linear, the I is directly proportional to V. For non-linear, that is I is not directly proportional to V. Okay, in next one point, the only one electrolyte obeys the Ohm's law. That is the copper sulfate solution with copper electrolytes obeys the Ohm's law, but other than this electrolyte does not obey the Ohm's law. Okay. Now the another one important concept, that is the resistance. Then how can we define the resistance? By using Ohm's law, we have defined that a resistance, electrical resistance of the conductor. Already we know the Ohm's law, that is P is equal to IR, or R is equal to, shall I write, V divided by I. Then how can we define this resistance of the conductor? The resistance of the conductor is defined as the ratio of potential difference applied across the ends of the conductor to the current flowing through it. The ratio we can call it as the resistance or electrical resistance. Okay, then what is the symbolical representation of this electrical resistance? So here it is a symbolical representation of the resistance. It is the constant resistance, and here if you take bar over this one, it is represented as variable resistance. Okay, then now the physical meaning of the resistance of the conductor. What is the physical meaning? It is one of the basic property of the conductor. It is defined as, it is this physical meaning of the resistance of the conductor. It is the net, or it is the amount of opposition offered by the conductor to flow of electric current through it. It is the amount of opposition, that resistance is represented opposition. The oppositions to the electric current by the conductor, that's one we can call as a electrical resistance. See, let us consider. Here, a conductor is there. when a potential difference is applied across this conductor, the current is passing through it. During this current, some opposition is offered to flow of electric charge through this conductor. That opposition we can call it as the electrical resistance. Then how the opposition is offered we discussed in later. Okay. Now what is the SI unit of electrical resistance? The SI unit of electrical resistance is ohm, or the symbolical representation of ohm is here. It is a symbolical representation of ohm. Then another one important, the electrical resistance is a scalar quantity. Electrical resistance is a scalar quantity. Then how can we define the resistance of the material is said to be 1 ohm. See, the resist already we know that the definition Ohm's law, that is V is equal to IR or R is equal to V divided by I. If V is equal to 1 volt, I is equal to 1 amps, then R is equal to, we can take it as 1 volt divided by 1 amps. This one we can call as a 1 ohm. See, we have to define 1 ohm. The resistance of the conductor is said to be 1 ohm if 1 amps current flowing through it when a potential difference of 1 volt is applied across its ends. The resistance is 1 ohm. Here applied voltage is equal to 1 volt. Then current through the conductor is 1 amps. Then the resistance we can call it as a 1 ohm. Clear? The electrical resistance is said to be 1 ohm if 1 amps current flows through it when a potential difference of 1 volt is applied across its ends. Okay. Now, how the resistance is origin in the conductor. How the resistance is origin. How the opposition is offered by how the resistance or how the opposition is offered by the material to flow of electric current. Okay. Now we'll consider a conductor, and here the potential difference is applied across this conductor. When the potential difference is applied across this conductor, the electric field is set off. This electric field exerts some force on these free electrons. That's why these are moving with some velocity, or these are accelerated in the opposite to the direction of this electric field. That's why these are drifted towards to the positive end of the battery. During this, these free electrons are collide with these fixed atoms or ions. This is the opposition. This opposition to the motion of free electrons is the origin of the resistance. Another one important thing, when the temperature of the material is increased, the resistance is also increased. Why the resistance is increases with increase the temperature? See, when the temperature of the material is increased, these fixed atoms or ions starts to vibrate. Due to the vibration of fixed atoms or ions, the more opposition is offered. More opposition is offered to these free electrons. That's why the resistance of the material is increases with increasing the temperature. Okay, thank you.